welcome back to your favorite German podcast. I am your dumpling, Kelvin.
And I'm your sauerkraut, Sascha.
And together we are sauerkraut dumpling. Yeah.
So, Kelvin, today I met with Micha and Sonja.
Mm-hmm.
Guess if they listen to us or not.
I said no.
Exactly. It broke my heart, eh?
Hey, you know your podcast is doing well when your friends don't even listen to your...
It's because they're too jealous. However, we talked about our trip to Hamburg, and it is an interesting topic, you know?
That's true.
If
Especially for them.
And if I wouldn't do this podcast, I would certainly listen because I would be interested, okay, who had a better time or who actually won.
But maybe we're just, we think we're more interesting than we actually are. Maybe. Hey, but we got listeners, you know?
At least we got 2 listeners. Cry, Steve.
Yeah,
Steve.
Thanks for holding out on us. Supporting us.
We need to send him a gift bag, like with fan articles of us. What should I do with this
Steve,
shit?
I'm going to send you a cup of Sascha and I in Hamburg at the Reeperbahn. It was a good time, though.
It was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, are you surprised, by the way, of the result?
Actually, very surprised. I was very surprised that the Deutsche Bahn was so punctual. That's crazy.
We can't say it now because it was also on Instagram. You won. The train team won.
Yeah. Deutsche Bahn, the most reliably unreliable train delivered.
But to be fair, on the way towards Hamburg, I needed 7.5 hours. And backwards, it was 5.5 hours. And I think this had 2 reasons. One reason, there was no stop and go. So
I didn't have to pee so much.
And I didn't have to stop all the time for our challenges.
That's true. You didn't have to wait in the toilet for 1 hour. For a minute.
So actually, without the challenges, I would have won this.
That's true. And I have to admit, it's a shame I didn't do the second challenge. I think it would have been fun.
I think the 2 coffees were too much.
Yeah, I was a little bit pinging. I was kind of high.
Yeah. I was listening to your recordings, and you actually sounded like you're on a different planet.
I think it's a combination of that, and I was a little bit sick, like had motion sickness from the train.
Really?
Yeah, I get motion sickness, and the train didn't help. The German train somehow was like not very stable. I don't know how to say it.
And I think you can't imagine how lucky you were that you found a place to sit.
Yeah, true. Right? It did take us the long, because we had two trains. The second train from, I think, Frankfurt to Hamburg, that one we had to fight a little bit. We had to fight because at first we were sitting in different rows, and then we got lucky and the guy next to one of us left, and then we merged. So we got lucky. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. And you had a good time, right?
Yeah. Minus the coffee, it was a good time. And there's no internet on the train, not really. So it's like very like zen. You're kind of meditating because you got nothing to do. You're just with your thoughts.
Okay, but this is interesting. Usually there is supposed to be internet.
Yeah, supposed to be.
Okay.
I mean, you'll get it at the stations, but once you're between stations, which this train is often between stations, there's only like 4 stops from Frankfurt to Hamburg. You just, you should bring a book or something. It's a good time, It makes you feel like you're back in the 90s, early 2000s.
And the main train station, it was like next level Frankfurt, right?
It was hectic. It's smaller than Frankfurt, so I felt like, I think it's like the same amount of shit and whatever, but just compressed more, So it's more concentrated.
I can't tell you why, but I think Frankfurt had more charm. In Frankfurt you can do this agro tours, with tourists. And this is most probably a bunch of human poop, and there you see some drugs. But in Hamburg, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing this tour with tourists,
Yeah, actually.
And there you see 2 druggies fighting each other.
I don't know why. honestly, I think Hamburg had less druggies
Yeah, it's true.
because we didn't see
Seems,
any needles while walking.
I think so too.
In Frankfurt, you'll definitely see some needles, but that's the Frankfurt charm. Shout out to the Frankfurt listeners.
So often we talk badly about them.
Heroin is has its charm, guys.
Okay, but enough heroin. Let's go to the bullshit or fact game of today. And by surprise, this time you're prepared.
Yeah, for the first time.
So you have the honor to start off.
Oh, okay. Is it true that the German government printed a €0 note, like Bargeld?
True or false?
Is it true or
a
false?
euro or Deutsche Mark?
€0.
I think it's true.
€0.
Yeah.
No value.
Like a gag, you know? Like a
the government.
Collection.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
The government.
Yeah.
Not like you sure? What is the use of this?
For collectors, you know?
Okay.
Congratulations.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You know your German money, sir.
By the way, do you know the price of it?
Oh, actually, I didn't check. I saw it and I was like, no.
It would be funny if it's $10.
I have a feeling it's more than that. I'm gonna check it now.
Okay. Well, while you check, I go with the next one.
It's €5.
$5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not very expensive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But still, right? I mean, you pay $5 and get back $0.
It's basically crypto, right?
Yeah. So I go up. I go up now. I go up, exactly. I come now with the next one. And bullshit or fact, Kelvin? In Germany, you pay more than 30% of your salary for rent and heating.
More than 30% of your
in general
netto
of your net then.
That sounds about right. I think people are paying like 50%.
Congratulations.
You're right. It's and it's a general, you know, like there are also really cheap cities included. There's super expensive cities included where easily you pay more than 50%.
Yeah.
So yeah, in general, if you think of coming to Germany, you pay in general 40% for rent and heating.
That's crazy. Though.
And there's no electricity in it, and also no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you gotta get that. I mean, electricity wasn't a big thing when I first moved. Like 8 years ago, electricity was cheap. You know, you didn't think about it so much. Now it's like a big part of the cost that you have to think about.
This is why I tell you, you should go for a Balkonkraftwerk.
Is it really worth it?
Yeah, I tell you.
Okay.
I saved so much money last year.
Okay, we get into this later.
Okay, you're next.
Okay, the second and last question I have is: there is a day called Weltspartag. I don't know if you've heard of this.
That's in October. Of course I know about it.
This was invented in Germany in 1924.
You know, it's for kids. So
is it for kids?
Yeah, during the whole year, you're collecting your coins in a piggy bank. And on Weltspartag, you go to your local bank and then you put it on your account. And
are
then
you sure it's in your account or are the parents putting it in their account?
No, it's your account. I hope.
I mean, in China, during Chinese New Year, we all get money from relatives and friends. And your parents are always like, let me keep the money for you and keep it safe. And that money's gone. You know? It's basically just people
and it's gone.
laundering money. So I'm skeptical here.
And I also remember, so I had my own little piggy bank. It was a big panda. And my sister had a pink panda. I had a male blue panda piggy bank. And my mom, she had a piggy bank which was 1 meter high. It was a bottle.
Dang.
It was a bottle of alcohol. It was more than 1 meter high, super wide. And after 5 or 6 years, it was completely full with coins.
And was it like the good kind of coins? like the euro, like D-Mark, 1 D-Mark.
Partly, but partly also not. But in the end, it was so much money inside.
Damn. I always try to do this, but I don't have the discipline, you know?
But dude, you can be more like an ass. It was way too easy this time.
Is it true?
Yeah, of course.
No. I said there's a day called Weltspaßtag.
Yeah.
And Germany invented it in 1924. It was 100 years ago. They celebrated 100 years.
So it's about when was it invented?
And where?
And where? But it's not true or false. I don't know where.
Is it true?
Okay, I say the year fits, yeah.
What'd you say?
I say yes. Okay.
It was invented in 1924 by the Italians.
And you said originally by
Germans.
Oh, okay.
Which is very believable because saving money seems to be a German national sport.
Especially here in this area, right?
Oh, I thought it was overall.
No, the Schwaben, they are especially in this.
They're known for being stingy.
Yeah.
Wait, you're not Schwab.
No, I'm from the north actually.
That explains a lot.
So I'm the next one again, and I say bullshit or fact, Kelvin. Starting a salary of 3,000 net, you belong to the 10 most rich people in Germany.
10%.
No, 10% exactly.
10% I would say, yeah, sounds about right.
3,000 euro.
3,000 netto.
Yeah, net.
Somehow believable, yeah.
It's 3,700.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of close, but also 3,700 is top 10.
Yeah. And the next one, general yearly income of a German or of anyone in Germany is 70,000 euro gross.
The average?
The average.
This seems a little high. I would say the average general is like around 50 or even less, like 40.
Congratulations.
You're on fire, man. It's 55. Not bad.
Nice.
Not bad.
Nice. I feel a little better. I'm above the average.
Yeah. 77 is high, I must say.
70 is pretty. Honestly, in this environment, with all the inflation going on, 70 is necessary, but people just don't have that money.
Yeah, they don't have it.
It's crazy.
And when we go back to the rent, right, you pay 40% for your rent alone. Food prices are coming up. You also want to go to a holiday and...
you got nothing left. Well, you might not even do holiday with this kind of money.
And now the Sonder special question, which I didn't wrote down, by the way.
Okay.
Sascha's first gross income was 90,000 euro. True or false?
19.
19.
This is I'm cheating because I know this.
You know it already.
You told me it was 19.
Shut up.
But your monthly netto wasn't so bad because the taxes were basically zero.
They were low, exactly. So the less you earn, the less taxes you need to pay.
That's kind of nice.
On the bad side, I also got less taxes back at the end of the year because I pay so little taxes.
Yeah. Well. You know what the topic of the day is now.
The topic of the day, it's money. It's a rich man's world.
Indeed.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, salaries.
Yes.
And there's a German saying, über Geld spricht man nicht.
That is pretty understandable. I mean, I know German, but no, you don't talk about money.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know if it's universal, but I have heard it in other places too. But I would definitely say that Germans are a lot more shy about talking about their salary or saying, like, if they own a property, they're not that into telling you the money aspect.
And they're also not into showing it off.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they are too afraid that other people will be jealous or anything.
Yeah, the Finanzamt is gonna come and get you. or whatever.
Where did you buy the Rolex? I saw the Rolex.
Dude, that's like that time I went to the Rathaus, and the lady serving me, she was wearing two watches. I don't know if I said it last time.
No.
On the left hand, an Apple Watch, one of those like watch ultras or whatever, pretty fancy. On the right side, it was a Rolex, like a Submariner or something.
Ooh.
It was good. It was like a 15,000-20,000 euro watch. I was like, whoa, that's a nice watch, because I was kind of into watches at the time. And then she was like, oh yeah, she was like, yeah, I like it. And then she quickly added, my husband bought it for me. I think she wanted to tell me like,
I'm not rich, so
yeah, she's like, I didn't get bribed or anything. My husband
so
bought
don't
me.
even think about bribing me here.
But just people don't really like to show off their money. That's very true. Yeah,
And if they show off, if they are show offs, then usually they don't have money. It's a funny thing.
that's true. Or they're not German, or both.
Or both, yeah.
Yeah. Like if you go to Mannheim, you definitely see some guys showing off their their fancy cars and stuff.
They are leased, right? Or they are rented for a day.
Or that, yeah.
So, but did you fall into the trap? Did you ever talk to someone about your salary?
No.
Or ask someone?
Almost never, because I don't like talking about money. I think it's just been.
So you're German in this regard.
I think so. It's kind of I don't like it when people ask me about money, because I know a lot of Chinese people, they like to ask all the time.
By the way, can you give me $10? I hate you now.
Yeah, that not so much. It's more like, oh, they'll ask you for your whole background, and then as soon as they see something,
So they can guess how much money they can ask from you then. Okay,
or
he's
just they like to know. Chinese people love to compare. I think that's the thing. Like they're like, oh, you live here. Did you buy your house? Did you rent it? How much is the rent? How much did you buy it for? Where do you work? Oh, you work here. How much do you make? Blah blah blah. Like,
but if they lose this comparison, I mean they must be like demolished, no?
if they don't compare, I feel like they're just lost. The whole society is based on competition. Look at China.
But it's harsh. I mean, there's so often that you lose this.
Yeah.
And then you think, okay, I'm not good enough or what? I
You
mean,
just lose direction in life, I feel.
fool.
A lot of Chinese people that first time they leave the country and they're abroad, and they realize, life isn't just a zero sum game where if I win, you lose. They get a little bit lost, I think. Or plus all the other stuff you're kind of brainwashed into thinking in China.
So back to the salary part, I must say I'm also kind of a guy who does not talk about his salary, but lately I'm more open about this. So I have a lot of foreign friends. Jordi, the Dutch guy,
Yeah.
he even showed me a screenshot of his new salary, and so personally I was surprised that someone is so open about it. And then I also told him about mine.
Okay. Wait, he's Dutch?
He's Dutch. To be fair, if someone else would just ask me about my salary, and if he's German, without first saying his salary, I think I wouldn't answer the question straight.
Yeah, I'm not that open about this. But it's interesting because I've also seen online that Dutch people are also a little bit like Germans when it comes to money.
Can be, but Dutch people are supposed to be the most nicest
True.
people in Europe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like the Canadians of Europe.
I think if you're a friend with one, then it might be different. Like in general, there might be money also focused, but not focused, but careful.
Much more open, yeah.
But if you're a friend with them, they're open, yeah. Okay, we talked about salary. Let's go to the next best thing, the unemployment money.
This is one of the biggest costs for Germany and a lot of other countries, but I think the German budget, I forgot, it was like 40% of it is spent on some kind of social welfare, and Hartz IV is a big part of that.
Yeah, a big part of our yearly taxes go into Hartz IV. But do you want to let them die
No, no,
or let
no. Of
them
course
hunger?
not. Of
Or
course not. I think you need to find that balance where it's like you don't let people die, but you also don't give them too much where they'll just live a comfortable life. I, I know it sounds bad, but the example I've heard, I have a friend, Constantine. He's in he's in Thailand. He has a few Airbnbs he's running, and
don't tell me he gets Hartz IV.
no, no, no.
So-
Oh, maybe I don't know, but no. Once he had a customer, German customer, and he lived there, stayed there with Constantine for a while, and then Constantine was like asking him like, "Hey, what do you do? Like, you know, what do you do for a living?" And the guy's like, "Hartz IV, Digga."
Hartz IV, Digga.
And I've heard stories of people like getting Hartz IV and then going to like Turkey or something and just living a good life because I don't know, like 700 euros or however much you get is
So it's
enough there.
so in case you're interested to come to Germany, and worst case you end
And you
up
want
being
Hartz IV?
you want Hartz IV, big goal in life. So know this: it's cash around about $500. Okay, if you don't have any children, and they also cover your rent costs, but only up to a certain limit. Okay, and on top of that, they also cover your heating costs, and that's it.
No electricity.
No electricity, yeah. And so in the end, you have $500 roundabout to live per month, and this is not a lot.
That is not a lot, actually. You have to do some stuff. Yeah, my there was like a Chinese blogger or something that didn't do an experiment, but just blogged their experience in Germany as like a refugee or something, or they basically had asylum in some way or something. Basically, got money from the government, and then also because they're Chinese, they're hard. They went to work Schwarzarbeit, so they worked illegally and got a bunch of money, and
For his blog, you mean?
for the blog, but also just
Okay, okay, now I got
and
you.
just for to live, right? And
He must have lived a good life
he
there.
lived a good life, no taxes, and gets money from the government. It was nice.
Oh, and you know GZ Gebühr, this is fee you pay monthly for government TV.
Oh yeah, the Radiofunk.
This is now comes a little bit bullshit. So students have to pay for that, except if they get Hartz IV. Hartz IV, I mean
People.
student loan. You know, if they have a student loan, they don't
Ah,
need to pay for that. If they don't get it because they are maybe not eligible, in case, for instance, you studied a second time, you're not eligible anymore, they have to pay for that. So they have little money or
okay.
almost nothing, and they still need to pay on top 18 euros. And now I come back to Hartz IV. Hartz IV people also don't have to pay that.
That's understandable, and also I'm a little tempted now to get Hatvia, because for many months when I first came, I didn't pay for that. I had a friend, skater friend, was like, "Yo, I never pay for this. I just in the end sue them and say that I don't have a TV and I don't believe in radio or the media, so I don't want to pay." And then for a while I was doing the same, and then I realized that was dumb. So I ended up paying like a lump sum at the end
How long did you?
for maybe like half a year to a year, something like that.
Okay, it's not so much.
But I
It's
kept getting this like the letters, and then every time they send you a new one, they add a bit more, and I ended up paying like 500 or something. It was a lot of money at the time, 500 euros.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, still, but yeah. Anyways, Hatzfia, guys, if you ever need it, it's there. I'm not against it.
It's waiting for you.
So, but do keep in mind that they'll try and force you to go to job interviews. This is what I've heard.
And they changed the name again. So it was Hartz IV until 3 years ago. So since then, it's called Bürgergeld. And now with the new government, they want to change the name again.
Again.
Again, they want to call it Grundeinkommen, basic income or something.
Burger gut sounds so nice. It's like a money for burgers.
Yeah, it's we don't let's not end up being political here.
Yeah, this is not the main thing of our channel. Okay, let's go to the next topic.
Yeah, hit me, Kevin.
Spending habits, Sascha.
Oh.
Tell me something that you like to spend money on that you don't cheap out.
Clothing, I think, and food.
And what?
And food.
Food. Okay. That seems somehow not so German. I don't know why, but I feel like Germans are not that. They don't care about the food so much.
They cheap out with food. You're right.
Yeah,
it's super German. Yes, I mean, go to Aldi. You can buy 600 grams of mincemeat. Mincemeat, pork/beef for €2.99. I mean, 600 grams of meat for €2.99.
Still?
Yeah.
Damn.
Meat
nice.
has to be cheap in Germany.
That's true. Germany produces the most pork in all of Europe, I think.
Yeah. And I think it's related to the war. During war, meat was such a rare thing to have. And nowadays, meat needs to be there for a low price.
Let's see how long that lasts. But okay, that's cool. I also spend quite a bit of money on food. But one thing that I don't cheap out on, this is going to sound funny, tissues. I don't know why. I like buying good quality like tissues.
Are you sure?
Yeah, like Tempo. I always have it around in my car and around the house. But I realized I've been to a few German households. They don't have tissues.
I always have tissues, but not the good ones. I have the cheapest tissues.
I'm not talking about if you're a bachelor and you live by yourself and it's next to the computer. I'm not talking about that kind of, okay? I'm talking about just a normal German household and you go in. I don't see Tempo, like tissues lying around.
By the way, next to the tissues, there is some lotion. Just want to
say
that.
That's convenient. But I'm in my... We are in my living room, just FYI. And there's
still, there is a Tempo box with lotion next to it.
That's true. I might use that later.
Okay.
One of them.
No judgment here.
Or both. Okay. What about being cheap on, Sascha?
Being cheap on. So, funny thing, when I go to a bazaar, and I know those guys do not earn much, okay? And I feel also sorry that they only get so little. Okay, but for me, it's more like the game part, I want to get their pain point.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And there I cheap out completely. So if they start, okay, this one thing costs €10, I counter with €2. Just to play with them,
So yeah, I think, but that's more for like the fun.
For the fun.
The bartering.
Okay, then it doesn't count. Okay, let me think.
I know one thing that you do.
Hit me.
Buying food at the cinema.
True. So true. But that's also a game for me. Yeah,
that's true.
I love to smuggle in food.
Sascha smuggled in like obscene amounts of food. It's like I've learned from him since, but like I used to buy popcorn and stuff.
But I swear to God, it's not cheaping out here. It's so fun to smuggle in food in cinemas. I don't know why. It makes so much fun to me.
Honestly, it's the funniest thing when I see him do it. He'll like wear this like puffer jacket, and you can clearly see there's a big area around his stomach. But I think the ticket people are just too nice to like ask. But you can tell there's stuff he's hiding something.
If they ever ask me to open my jacket, everything will fall out.
He's buying like 1 liter bottles of whatever water or some shit. Like there's a lot of stuff going in.
Yeah, sure.
And the best thing is, you can hear him eating the food very loudly in the cinema, especially when it's super quiet and you just hear Sascha like. It's good. I've also adopted since. I think it's quite interesting.
So funny, man.
In the winter, it's really nice because you wear these big jackets. I once managed to smuggle a full-size Pringle in one of my arm sleeves. Like I shoved it into the arm part and I walked
Not
it.
bad, not bad.
I just had big triceps, you know.
Whoa, this guy has muscles. Dude, flex for me.
But only on one arm.
Only for one arm.
Don't ask me
the
why.
arm next to the lotion.
But yeah.
But serious now. Let me think. Where do I cheap out? I don't want to be too holy here. Let me think. Where do I cheap out?
I can tell you mine first.
Yeah, okay. Hit me.
It's not cheap. It's more like a game or an obsession. I love collecting points on my payback. You know payback?
Yeah.
The payback cards?
Is this a Chinese thing? I don't want to be now.
Maybe, yeah.
So my colleague Jun, he also loves to do that.
Yeah. We love anything that's like money saving or point collecting, you know? For us, money is like a game. It's like Scrooge McDuck. We're just collecting coins, you know? And the payback thing is great because there are times you get these coupons, you get like 10 times the normal amount of points, and then blah blah blah, you're doing all this. And then sometimes I will stack coupons on top of coupons, and then at the end I'll save like 30 cents. But it's so satisfying, you know? Where like I'll find something online, and then I'm like, I can find something cheaper, and I'll look for an hour and I find the same thing that's maybe 50 cents cheaper or euro cheaper, and I'll buy that one. I'm like, yes, my life is
Okay.
fulfilled.
What I really like to do, maybe you can consider that cheaping out. If I need to buy an item which is a little bit more pricey, let it be electronic or let it be an shelf, okay? Especially now when we move to the new apartment, okay? I see something I like, and then I spend significant amount of time to look for the same item somewhere else to find it cheaper.
Yeah, I do that too. I even do one better. I sometimes buy things I don't need just because they're cheap.
I also did this once.
I
I
don't know if this is being cheap anymore.
I remember I was once in a Bose headphone, and they were brand new, the Bose headphone 2, the over-ear ones.
Yeah.
During that time, they were over 300, and then I found a place in Mediamarkt somewhere in Germany, which was selling them for 200, and then I went to my local Mediamarkt and said, look, this Mediamarkt is selling them for 200. And then the guy looked at me, you're right. And he was selling me the damn Bose headphones for half of the price. I was so proud of this. Made my day.
I remember something similar. When I was in Australia, there was a chain, a game company, like basically like GameStop. It was called EB Games, and they do this price matching thing. So if you want to buy a game there and it's more expensive there than some other shop, they will match the price if you show them that the other shop sells it for cheaper.
But online doesn't count, right? It needs to be a
online counts.
Online counts, okay.
So we used to go in and we'll show them like a random website, say, hey, look, this game is sold on this website for this price, and they'll give it to us for that price. And sometimes the guys working there, they don't really know the difference between like the same game might have like a collector's edition and a normal edition.
Oh.
They won't know. So we get the collectors like, yo, look, this is like $40 cheaper. Can we get it? And they're like, yeah, okay. And then they'll just sell it to us.
I don't want to now switch completely the topic, but nowadays collector's edition, they're not so good anymore. So in the past, WWE games for PlayStation, collector's edition was always awesome, had some nice gimmicks in it, and nowadays it's just online stuff. You get online.
Oh, those digital shit.
Yeah.
Nah, that's bad. I never bought collectors because I was always too cheap, but I could see the appeal.
I have one collector's edition WWE wrestling, okay, and there was a ring, WWE champion ring, and there was also Funko Pop figure of how's it called again? This wrestler who says "woo."
I don't watch WWE. Stone Cold.
No, not Steve Cold. Yeah, okay, never mind.
I it was never my thing, but yeah, worth money nowadays. Some of the old collector
I
stuff.
actually need to check. Maybe my stuff is worth money and I don't know it.
Yeah, maybe like $1,000.
I doubt.
That's like
I opened it and I played it.
oh,
It's
okay.
not worth it. I had to play it.
It's like half the price now.
I had to play it.
It's a different time. I'm with you. Okay, maybe for Germans in general, I see things they don't cheap out on. The number one I see, they're bikes. Everyone's got these expensive ass like 2, 3, 4,000 euro e-bikes. Some people have like a whole fucking house on their bike. Have you seen those like those bikes with the freaking roof and shit?
I get you. And let me add to this trekking clothing.
Oh yeah. Jack Wolfskin, shout out. Give us a sponsor. I'm wearing your stuff.
He does.
I'm a good German. Yeah, that's true. All the gear, they're really into that. Bikes, trekking, cars. You see a lot of good cars in Germany, I would say.
And I underestimated always the net price of these cars. You know, the car I for instance get, I thought it's a 30 or 25k car. Turned out it's 45k.
Yeah. But I have a feeling prices will drop. They have been dropping.
Yeah, in China, right?
Because of the
Especially.
Chinese EVs coming in. So
I mean, it's a good thing if there are cars available for 15k.
yeah, people will buy more. It's that thing. I forgot what it's called. Henry Ford was saying that by decreasing the price, you will sell more of the product and actually make more money in the long run.
Yeah.
But in any case, okay. One last thing. I think Germans really do like to spend money on insurance. This is one thing I've seen and heard a lot.
Actually, my heart bleeds when I have to pay money for insurance.
Yeah.
Recently I had to do a Rechtsschutzversicherung, so a law insurance.
Oh, I got that. Yeah.
It's $30 per month, and
Shit.
I never wanted one.
Why'd you get it?
Because in the apartment, in the house complex of my apartment, okay, the neighbors, they have problems with each other partly. And I ended up having problems then with the house administration because his behavior was ugly towards me. And then on this evening, I told to Simke, I think we need this insurance.
30. I think I pay something like 20, 25.
But only for you or for your whole family?
For me. Yeah,
I pay for me and Simke then.
I don't know if I can extend mine. But in any case, guys, get insurance. Because it's Germany. And people there's very affordable. I would say if you had to get any other insurance other than the health insurance that you normally pay, Haftpflicht.
Privathaftpflicht, yeah.
Privathaftpflicht, which is the third party liability insurance. So if you freaking knock over an old lady while you're running and she breaks her face, that will cover it, right? Something like that.
Yeah, or if you have a walk, you kick a stone and then the stone flies into a car
an old
and
lady's
damages
face. It will cover
old lady's face, poor old lady.
Has to be an old lady.
But this is basically the one insurance everybody should have, Privathaftpflicht.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good one.
And I think a lot of foreign people coming to Germany don't have it.
Dude, I didn't have it. I had to pay 500 euros once because I knocked some girl over on my bike. It was the dumbest thing. I was riding my bike. She was at this intersection. I wasn't sure if she's moving or not, you know? She was kind of hesitant. As soon as I turned, she took a step and I hit her with my bike. But it wasn't that bad. It was a bicycle. She kind of got scrapes on her hand. And the freaking lady next to us ran over to me and was like, "Hey, I saw everything. I'm calling the police." Some Karen working at the Because the girl I knocked over was like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry." She's like, "I'm in a rush. I gotta go. This is fine." But then the lady next to her was like, "No, no, no, I'm calling the police." And the police came, and then like a bunch of people started saying shit, and in the end, I had to pay like 500 euros.
Sir, don't,
Yeah,
calm down, sir, calm down. But I'm just standing here.
yeah.
Here's a weapon. Sir, sir.
The lady was like, "Give me your ID. I want to see your ID." The random lady, and I was like, "I'm pretty sure that's not allowed." She's like, "No, no, no, ID." And then I gave her my ID, and then as soon as she saw that it was a German ID, she was like, "Oh, you're German.
Ah, fuck.
It's fine. Everything's
Okay, you can
fine."
go. You
She's
can
like,
go.
"It's okay." I was like,
Bad habits or errors
"Yes."
happen.
But in any case, the police when they came, they were like, "Yo, do you have third party insurance as Haftpflicht?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "You need to get it because in these situations, Haftpflicht will cover everything, mostly everything."
And she took a lawyer then, or how did you end
No,
up
they
with
didn't do
500
anything.
bucks?
I think the police did something and fined me. In the end, I think the money was like the police fining me.
Oh,
Yeah, because I gave the girl like her boyfriend some money. I was like, "Here, take her out for a good dinner." And that was it. And then later on, I got a 500 euro fine or something that required me to pay.
so if the police is called and you are the person who caused
Yeah,
the
I'm at fault. Yeah,
okay, you are at fault, then you have to pay for the police coming.
but I pay taxes.
Yeah, but this doesn't matter.
Interesting.
And but 500 sounds a lot.
Yo, why do I have to pay extra? I pay taxes. Don't that pay the police?
Yeah, but we're
Eh,
talking about an incident you caused and they come because of you. It's
dude,
the same.
I
Wait.
pay health insurance. Yeah, if I go to the doctor and I'm like I hit myself, like I tripped. No other person hurt me. I tripped and I hurt my leg. The doctor's not gonna be like, "Oh, cause you're stupid, I'm gonna charge you more money."
I can add to this. So, fire department, for instance, if you end up um, activating the fire alarm, you have to pay for the fire department's cost when they make themselves ready and came to the place. It's the same.
Yeah, but that's because you're actually basically calling them in a way, right, to come. Because the alarm
N-
triggers the police to
No,
come.
you caused an incident which make them come.
Even if there was no incident, by you pulling the alarm, you're getting the fire department to come.
Okay, different example now. You cause a fire. The whole
Oh,
department is on
okay, yeah,
fire.
yeah, okay. If I
You
cause a
still
fire,
you
I
still
get.
have to pay the fire department for come.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, yeah, but I still feel a little bit like that money was not paid in any and it didn't make any sense to me. Like the girl that I hit was like, "Yo, I don't want any of this. I just want to go."
Just let me go.
And the people around us were like, "No, we're gonna."
We don't let you go. Silence.
It was a
Ah!
horrible experience. I swear.
Oh, sorry, man. But let's go to a nicer experience. Cash or card, Kelvin? Have you ever heard that?
Yeah,
So
more like no kata. Sorry,
let
bar
us
only. No bar.
let us start off with China. Just give us a brief explanation how a usual payment transaction is working in China.
So in China, everything is basically cashless, right? So we have WeChat or Alipay. Those are the two main or only payment systems. We do have card, but it's almost non-existent now. But basically, you're in China, so you have a WeChat and you have a WeChat wallet, and this is linked to your bank account, and you can get money from and to the account. And whenever you have to pay, you just use your WeChat. You scan a QR code, and the money is paid out. You can depends on the establishment. Either you set the amount, or they scan your QR code to take money from you. It's so crazy to the extent that beggars in China will have a QR code on the street so you can give them money because no one has cash. Like it's completely cashless.
I wonder if a person still would recognize their own currency. Are you sure this is
Yeah,
yuan?
that's honestly a good point. I think kids nowadays probably don't know what it looks like because even during New Year's, when you're supposed to give money, people are sending it on on
Oh,
WeChat.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
So no more red envelope.
WeChat envelope. We have digital red
Really?
envelopes. Yeah, yeah, red packets.
Oh, it's funny.
So, yeah, maybe people will forget what Mao Zedong looks like because his face is on the bill. Yeah, but in Germany,
Cash is king in Germany, man.
yeah, still, it's gotten a little better since the pandemic.
Another reason why Japan and Germany are so similar.
Japan is the same.
Yeah.
Cash.
Yeah,
Oh,
cash is
okay.
king in Japan. So
But they got toilets that wash your butt.
I also got one at home,
Yeah, but it's not standard in Japan. I thought they're all high tech.
but it's a German manufacturer.
Really?
Yeah, Alpenberger.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's funny.
and it's healthy.
It's very good. I like bidets.
Yeah, bidets go.
Yeah.
We are open for product placing for bidets. Just contact us.
Yeah, really. Honestly, bidets so much better than using tissue to wipe your butt.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you could do both. Why not do both? You know?
I do actually both.
Yeah. Okay, that's enough bidet talk.
Yeah. So we have in Germany a card called Giro card. Okay. I think this is actually a German thing because usually this Giro card abroad doesn't work. Then we have lately, so recently, also a debit card. So debit card is more like an international or at least European-wide card.
No, the
Funny,
EC card.
not the EC card. This is your Giro card, EC card. The debit
Ah,
card is
okay.
also a Visa card.
Right, right, right.
And funnily, a lot of shops in Germany do not accept your debit card.
That's true. Or I recently realized because I was talking to the bubble tea shop people, they do accept, but it's more expensive to pay the Visa or MasterCard transaction fees. So they prefer EC. EC. That's why they say no EC. So actually, if they're like no EC, and sometimes you try and scan your Visa or Master, it works.
The place where I buy cakes, they also said only EC-Karte, only EC-Karte. And once, and it was by mistake, I scanned my Visa card and they got angry with me. We said only EC-Karte.
And it worked, right?
It worked.
Yeah, see? These.
Because they lost money, then
They're
I think
cheap.
they lost 2% or something.
Cheap. Then why? I don't know.
I even apologized. I'm so sorry. It was a mistake.
But my understanding is Itikat, like the EC cards, will go away soon. This was, at least someone told me that this is the plan.
Yeah, they now introduced the debit card to
Yeah.
replace the EC card.
So soon we won't have any of this. But again, cash, guys. Just bring cash. This is the main thing.
Also, all around Europe, especially in Turkey, when you go and exchange your cash with the local currency, okay, usually there is a scam included. The closer you are to the airport, the worse is the exchange rate you get.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Okay. In Germany, on the other hand, I don't know if this also exists here. This scam. Do you know that?
Money exchange?
Yeah, like the
I
closer
don't
you're to
even
the
know
airport.
if there are that many money exchange places.
This is also another thing. In Heidelberg, there is none. Also, Berlin or
Right?
Hamburg. Did you see one in Hamburg?
Maybe because we're not looking for them, we don't notice it. I'm sure there are some in big cities, but I don't know if Heidelberg has one. Maybe Heidelberg is such a tourist place. Maybe I know because Heidelberg used to be an American military base. The restaurants here used to take USD. They would take your USD and give you euros back.
But nowadays, not anymore, right?
I think if you go to Mandy's, which is like this diner that's kind of American, they still take USD, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, yeah. And I had friends that used to go to the military base, and there's a shop there. You can pay in euros, but you only get USD back in change.
That's also funny.
That's kind of funny, yeah.
Okay.
But speaking of money, maybe we end with tips on money in Germany.
It's actually also interesting, like also for tourists. How much tip do you give usually when you eat out?
Oh, I don't just mean the tipping, but I mean like general
Ah, sorry, misunderstood.
advice.
Oh no, I will cut that out.
No, it's fine. Tipping, how to tip, but also general advice
Okay.
on money.
Okay, tips and the tip.
And tip. Yeah. Giving tips and taking tips.
Let's start with the given tips.
Just the tip.
Usually just 10% is fine.
Yeah, I always do 10.
But there's also a limit. Like if you spend, I don't know, 180 euros because you have too much money, and I think I wouldn't give them 20 euros tip, right?
I mean, if you have that much money, I guess 20 euro tip. I don't know. Maybe rich people are more stingy. If I spend 180 at a restaurant and it was a really nice time, I probably would give 200.
Oh, okay, maybe I'm cheap here.
But if you think about it, 180, 10% is 18. It's just 2 more euros.
Yeah.
It's like 11%.
I think for me, the tip ends with 10 euros. I would not give more than 10 bucks.
What if you eat at a super fancy place, yeah? Super fancy. And there's like 20 of you. And the bill's like 2,000 euros. You're going to give a 10 euro tip?
I think I would cry. No! There's a funny video of a Turkish influencer, Orkun, I think. And he was eating out in Nusret. It's a steakhouse or a steak restaurant, also owned by a Turkish guy, okay?
Sounds nice.
Who studied in Argentina. Maybe you know Salt Bay.
Yeah.
The salt guy, okay? Yeah, and he was going there, and he wanted, of course, to create content, but he was hoping, because he's an influencer, he gets discount or something, okay? And then he was ordering this golden prime rib, and he was eating this, so good. And he was also ordering golden cappuccino, and he was ordering the golden hamburger.
It's always gold.
And he had also the golden baklava or something. And then he got the invoice, 1,800 euros for a Turkish guy, okay? And his heart raced. I didn't get any discount. But he's rich, no? No, he's not rich. He's not rich. Shit. And he didn't get any discount. And heart raced. He paid. Like, his hand was shaking when he paid. He was going out and he was complaining like 10 minutes. This was the whole video. 10 minutes complaining.
Hey, but he's a famous YouTuber.
In Turkey, he's super famous, yeah.
So
millions.
He has the money. He definitely has the money.
Yeah.
1,800 for content. I think it's worth it. Yeah, but I would say 10%. No matter how expensive, just do the 10%. Unless, I know this is gonna sound bad, but I sometimes play my my Chinese ethnicity to my advantage. I know this is bad, but I had a friend that worked at one of the bars, very famous bars in Heidelberg, Fetters, and she said she didn't like Chinese customers because one of the main reasons was they didn't tip. Because in China, we don't tip. So they're used to not tipping. So a lot of the places, when they see Chinese customers, they don't expect you to tip.
Ooh, so you positively surprise them.
So if you're Chinese and you're feeling cheap,
now I get you.
You don't have to tip.
Because they don't expect anything from you. Aye.
But I often do the other way around, where I try to make sure I tip them, just to
make their day.
And say I'm Chinese.
I'm Chinese. Forget everything you know about Chinese people.
This is the real China.
Okay, what fancy tips, after talking about tipping, what fancy tips do you have?
Money tips. Okay, guys. Money tips, obviously, it's about saving money, right? What is, Sascha, the biggest money saving tip in Germany?
The biggest money saving tip in
other
Germany.
than going to Hartz-IV, like as a normal person.
Showering at your employer.
using the fan there to dry your balls.
I'm seriously, yeah. You know, the guys at our company who have the best contracts conditions, they come every morning to our place just to show us there to save water.
I've met, after you told me that the old dudes are super cheap, I've met a few now. I have a colleague, he comes in at midday lunchtime. He comes in first thing at work is lunch. He eats lunch, a big lunch, and then he works till maybe a bit later. And then he eats a tiny dinner and sleeps a bit late. He eats 2 meals a day and he eats most of his food at work. And he's definitely been at our company for like 20 years at least. I don't know. But in any case,
this makes me somehow sad, man.
My biggest tip, which I think is true, Sascha, you can correct me here, is getting married.
Oh, dude. There's a saying in Germany, if you get married, you start saving for the divorce.
Oh no.
So it's rethink what you just said.
Hey, but I had a colleague. She got married recently, and I was talking to her about marriage, and she was like, getting married is so awesome. You save so much money on taxes. Remember to get married at the end of the year.
Dude, if she would have talked to me like that, I think I would have smashed my head against the wall.
But honestly, I think tax-wise, it's a big benefit because my neighbor does it. The lady doesn't work and the guy works.
Yeah, of course,
And
and it's good for
she
the
was
guy.
like, financially, it makes more sense for me to not work because if I do work and I make a little bit of money, it's actually
the both of them have less money than you.
Yeah, it's like pointless. And I was like, oh wow, okay. So getting married, guys, I feel like just the richer you are, the more careful you are with money. I feel they will donate money. Rich people donate money, but most of it's either to improve their image and or
tax benefits.
Tax.
Yeah.
So they're almost never doing anything out of just their goodwill.
Exactly.
But in any case, after shitting on everything, guys, save money, get married, get a retirement.
Think about get married.
Account. Buy some stocks maybe, but just don't expect immediate returns.
Or invest your money in a really young, fresh, growing podcast called Sauerkraut Dumpling. We will put our bank ID in the video description.
I'll give you a Bitcoin account. You can give me some Bitcoins that I cannot, that are untraceable. I guess. Any last words?
If you ask yourself, okay, how much money do the guys earn? If you cannot
imagine.
You cannot imagine. It's too much.
A lot, guys. We're rolling in money. Yeah. That's why we keep doing this.
I need to dry my tears with 100 euro bills now. Oh,
I'm wiping my butt with 100 euro bills.
Ouch.
All right. Last words, Sascha?
Stay German.
Stay German, guys. Bye-bye.